Why bother with the facts when you can rely instead on vague, anecdotal information that simply justifies your preconceived ideas? Hi, I'm Cameron Turner. Representative Peter King, the conservative New York congressman who heads up the House Homeland Security Committee, says that he just had to convene these hearings on the possible radicalization of Muslims in the United States because, in King's estimation, the Muslim community in America is simply not doing enough to help root out potential terrorists. Now, the facts prove that Congressman King is wrong, but he's not about to let the truth stand in the way of his high-profile investigation. On February the 2nd, the Triangle Center on Homeland Security and Terrorism released a report indicating that 120 Islamic terrorist plots had been thwarted here in the United States since September 11th. Moreover, 48 out of those 120 plots were thwarted as a result of information provided to law enforcement by Muslim Americans. Now that is clear, documented proof that the American Muslim community is cooperating with law enforcement, is actively involved with trying to stop terrorism here in our country. But Congressman King simply doesn't believe that. When CNN chief political correspondent Candy Crowley confronted King with those Triangle Center numbers, he just acted like the figures didn't exist. I don't believe there is sufficient cooperation, Congressman King said. My dealings with the police in New York and FBI and others say they do not get the level of cooperation that they need. So in other words, Congressman King is building this whole effort around unspecified, vague, anecdotal statements by law enforcement officers as opposed to looking at the empirical evidence, the hard facts. The Triangle Center report contains evidence that really ought to make everybody in our country breathe a little easier. It ought to give us the assurance, the reassurance that despite our religious and cultural differences, we are in fact one America, united in this effort to oppose a common foe. But it just seems that a lot of activists on the conservative side are not interested in a unifying message based on the facts. Neither have they demonstrated any commitment to building bridges, to establishing relationships with Muslim leaders or Muslim organizations, or even taking the time to understand what the Muslim religion is all about. No, instead what you have are people like Peter King, who this week will ignore the facts and will gavel in a Get Tough Capitol Hill hearing, which will have, I fear, the tragic effect of stirring up more of the distrust, the paranoia, and the prejudice of people who are already convinced that Muslims as a group are dangerous and cannot be trusted. This will have terrible consequences for our country. And I implore Congressman King and others to take a different approach. I'm Cameron Turner, and that is my 2 cents.